Hi, this is Jack Daulton again. This is day 3, I guess, of my recovery from brain surgery.
I'm Jack's brother, Robert, here to visit Jack in the Kaiser Permanente Hospital.
He's the Daulton with flamboyant facial hair, as one of my friends put it. Actually, she's a woman friend, Bob.
Actually, let's make this video about you, not me.
Okay, yeah. They may be distracted by your facial hair, but then again, I have something distracting too on the left side of my head.
Oh, really? Let's take a look at that.
Oh
That's
my! I scratched my head.
Did you?
I nicked myself.
A bit of a nick up there.
I nicked myself shaving.
Oh dear.
That is the incision. The incision through which, obviously, of course, they extracted my brain tumor. It's roughly sort of U-shaped, I guess, Bob?
I would say it's very U-shaped and about 4 inches on a side.
4 inches each side. That's bigger than I thought it would be, actually. That's a scalp flap. They don't remove the scalp entirely because they want to maintain the blood supply to the scalp, because if the blood supply isn't maintained, your scalp will die like any tissue.
You don't want that to happen.
No, because then you would have but you'd need a skin graft first, and then you'd have a permanent bald spot. I don't know, maybe you'd have leg hair depending on where they took the graft.
Exposed skull. And
You want
to avoid that.
Yeah, so it looks like there's like 60 staples in there.
I would say that there's probably 12 to 15 staples to a side, yes.
Yeah, and so in 14 days or so after the surgery, I'll have the staples removed. Not really looking forward to that. It can't be a pleasant experience, but it's another step along the way to recovery. So I'd like in this video to discuss with Robert, or I call him Bob, my brother. He's a year and a half younger than me. What my condition has been like post-operatively, because it's kind of interesting. There are some issues, and I'd like to go over those with you. When I came out of surgery and regained consciousness, I shortly realized that there was numbness on the right side of my body, in my arm, from my wrist to above my elbow, and in my leg, my calf up to my thigh. And I also noticed that there was weakness, lack of strength, lack of control over my arm especially. And some in my leg as well. And this was something that I was warned about before I had the surgery. They said it was pretty much likely.
Not unexpected.
Not unexpected. That I would have some motor deficits in my right side.
Short term.
Hopefully short term. It's possible longer than that, but hopefully short term. And over the last 2 days, we've been monitoring that situation. The motor deficits are probably caused by edema, swelling, secondary to the surgery, putting pressure on the motor area of my brain. And they're feeding me a constant supply of a steroid to reduce that inflammation. It doesn't reduce it entirely, it doesn't eliminate it. But that steroid, as that steroid takes effect, and as days go by and I begin to heal and my brain returns to normal, hopefully the symptoms I'm experiencing, motor loss, lack of control, numbness, will disappear. In fact, that appears to be what is happening.
Because you have a feeling already that there's a certain improvement in at least your arm.
Yes, well, we should talk, before I talk about the improvement, we should talk about a little bit more about the nature of the deficit. Yes, because it's actually kind of fascinating.
I agree.
It's a window to sort of how your brain is organized and how it functions. Of course, I said there's numbness in my leg and in my arm, and that's pretty self-explanatory. That's secondary to the surgery and the inflammation. But more interesting than the numbness is the lack of control in my arm and my leg, especially in my arm. I'm able to walk, I should say that, no problem. Well, I shouldn't say no problems, walk tentatively. I'm a little shaky because I don't have complete control over my right leg. But with weight on my leg, I seem to be walking, even going up and down stairs.
We walked up some stairs today, yes.
And I was a little unsteady, but not shocking.
No, you didn't fall.
Yeah, I'm ambulatory, and that's encouraging, because that's only going to get better. My arm, though, is more dramatic because I have what is that called? Proprioception?
You have issues with proprioception at the moment, yes.
Proprioception. That's our big word for the day. Our $10 word, as they call it.
That's a $50 word.
What does that mean? It's 50, maybe even 100. What does proprioception mean?
It's the understanding of the position of your body in space, essentially.
Yes, and so the perception of my arm in space is compromised now. So I have trouble controlling the position of my arm in space. It tends to drift. And secondary to that, I'm using secondary a lot.
That's all right.
Secondary to that, I'm having a hard time controlling objects. My hand is fine. The fingers, the dexterity of the fingers is fine. Maybe a little compromised, but pretty much normal. But my arm, yeah, I can do things like this. But my arm tends to move in space on its own. It tends to drift, and that makes it hard to control the hand, because while the fingers are dexterous, the hand, I have trouble steadying the hand, keeping it from moving. It's drifting, as I've said. So using a fork and knife is difficult. Grabbing and controlling a cup of water is a little bit tricky.
But you've been able to write, is that correct?
I can write.
Without too much difference.
No, yeah, my penmanship's not bad looking.
Wonderful penmanship.
I haven't tried to use chopsticks yet for fear of poking my eye out, and I think that would be very difficult at this point, using chopsticks.
Poking your eye out is always difficult using chopsticks.
Handling a $100,000 work of art is probably inadvisable at this time, and so it's a concern. Yesterday especially was a concern because my arm is flopping around. And we can do a little demonstration. One of the standard neurological tests.
I think flopping is taking it a bit.
Yeah, that's too dramatic, not flopping
It's
around.
not flopping.
It moves slightly.
It's not a dolphin flipper.
One of the, you have to project, by the way, when we speak to the video.
Okay.
I'm directing you mid-video. One of the standard neurological tests for proprioception is to hold your arms palm up in front of your body with your eyes shut. And I'm going to do that now, and you'll see probably
I'll do it with you.
Yeah, okay, that my right arm will start to drift. And so we'll do that right now. About 1, 2, 3. Closed eyes in front of our body. And we'll hold that for like 10 seconds.
This has got to be the most exciting part of this video. You're touching me.
I guess I'm drifting. Okay, I think you could see, could you see it all? That my arm is drifting?
A
little bit. Yes, let's do it one more time.
Alright, palms up.
Palms up, eyes
Arms
closed.
extended.
Yeah, eyes closed. No, okay. I have a little hard time just keeping my palm up on my right arm.
I'm used to this position.
Okay, let's focus. Let's focus.
Okay.
I can tell that my arm is starting to drift. A little bit.
I'm cheating with the eye thing.
It's drifting.
It's drifting.
Okay, so actually though, the drift was more severe yesterday.
Yesterday your arm practically fell all the way down.
Yeah, it fell all the way down. And I think you can understand why it's hard to control an object when your arm is moving like that. But the good news is that I finally got my first night of decent sleep.
Right?
The night before the surgery I didn't sleep much.
How much did you sleep last night?
The night after the surgery I didn't sleep much at all. Last night I slept about 6 hours.
That's good.
Solid.
That's good.
And when I woke up this morning, I found that the numbness was gone in my right arm. And although the numbness came back when I started to use it, I guess when I started to excite the neural area in my motor cortex, although the numbness came back, it appears that my control over my right arm has improved.
Yes.
I was better able to control a fork during breakfast, for example. Proprioception, the drifting of the arm seems to be less severe today.
The walking also is markedly better today than it was yesterday.
And so and my neurosurgeon was here as well this morning, and he thinks the improvement is dramatic. And that's a positive sign. I am encouraged that I will regain control over my arm. so that I can do things like handle a $100,000 painting.
It would be nice.
That's
I would
fair.
like to handle one someday myself.
Or that I can maybe even chopsticks someday. Maybe even, you know, jog in a few months.
I'm
you know.
sure that'll happen.
So it seems all good, you know, onward and upward.
Yes.
This is only day 3 and I'm already making progress. And I've got these wonderful visitors with me, my brother, my mom, my 80-year-old mom, she's amazing, and my fiance Rosa, who's the camera person. So thank
Hi.
you very much, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.